my Stitchy friends, welcome back. It's been a hot minute since we met last, about 3 or so weeks, and I've got lots to show you. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be okay. Welcome to Lology Stitches. Let's do this part. My name is Laura. I am a, what do they call it? Multi-crafter, a cross-stitcher, quilter, crocheter, all things handworker. And I am so glad you're with me today. Let's see. It's a spectacular morning. It is so, so beautiful. It's been cold. The clouds cleared off and it's been very cold, but oh my goodness, the blue skies are so uplifting and yay. I love it. Let's see. Squeaky chair. Sorry. Yeah, life's good. Life's chugging along. If you're new to my channel, this is a channel that is about cross stitch and quilting. So I do 2 different videos. This is normally I do Flosstube videos and then Quilting Bee videos, and the Quilting Bee videos are all about quilting and they're super fun. So I hope you'll check those out. But today is going to be a special episode. It's going to be a combo. And I don't normally do that, but I actually filmed a Quilting Bee just over a week ago, and you know, it wasn't a good day to film. Let's just put it that way. And so I don't think I will ever air that video. So today I do have a couple finishes, and I want to share those with you, and then just kind of move on. So I'll just kind of tag, 15-20 minutes on at the end of this video. I would like to say it'd be 5 minutes, but I chatter way too much. So it will definitely be 10 to 20 minutes, probably somewhere in that range of a little bit of Quilting Bee chatter, and then we'll part ways until after Thanksgiving. So that's kind of the plan, but the main focus is cross stitch for this video. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it. Something I forgot to mention in my last video, and this was just a really fun happenstance. My local needlework shop is Threadneedle Street, which is fabulous. You go online and you look at their website and wonder, at least I wondered, if she even carried cross stitch. But my friends, it is a treasure. It is such a good shop. So I hope you'll stop by if you're ever in the Seattle area. But when I was there, let's see, it would have been mid-October, I guess. It was a while ago. I was, just minding my P's and Q's in the corner looking for floss, and I think I must have chattered at Denise or something, who's the shop owner, and this woman looked over at me, and then she looked away, and she kind of looked back, and she was working at the counter. They were working on something, and anyways, after a few minutes, she was like, I just have to say something, and I watch your channel, and you guys, it totally, it had never happened before. It totally made my day. It just made my day. If you ever see me, please say hi, because I just love it. It was so much fun. We chatted for a couple of minutes, and then she kind of finished her transaction and left, and then the stars aligned again. And somebody else came in who did the same thing, and it was just delightful. Fast forward to 3 days ago. I was back at Threadneedle Street, and I ran into 2 more lovely ladies. So Perla, Dana, I believe, Dottie, and Linda. It was so nice to meet you. I'm so glad you said hi, and don't be strangers. Say hi again if you see me. We're actually talking about potentially doing just kind of a local stitchy day. I feel like we should I'll do a shout out. I'll say, okay, this day at this time, we're going to meet at this Starbucks. Bring your stitching. And it would be so much fun to just take over Starbucks for an hour and do like a stitchy meet and greet. I don't know. I think it would be super fun. Anyways, so that was delightful. I'm so glad everybody said hi. It made my day both times. Okay, so stitching. This is kind of a big deal, like ring the bell, right? Mirabilia Stargazer. I will say I do not have her beads done, and you'll see soon. But I have been working on her for a couple of years with more focus over the last year since my Flosstube started. And I am so pleased to say, where's my board? Not pleased to say where's my board, but where is my board? It's stuck in a hole. Okay, here we go. I have all of the cross stitching done on it. So all that remains is beads. Oh, I'm just so tickled. She is so pretty. She's so beautiful, and she is so done. Other than the beads. So you can see in the beautiful sunshine, I have started beading her skirt. You can also see, if I come in closer, that I'll be beading her skirt for the next 1,000 years. Because there are so many beads. All of the holes, all the swirls and swags and dots, those are all beads. And those are just the beads in her dress. There are also swirly magic beads all around her. And I have done a custom bead conversion. Some of the beads were out of stock or unavailable, and so I started tweaking, and once I started tweaking, I just got all my own ideas and went my own way pretty much. So it'll be really fun to see it come together. These are a little bit darker. They're also shinier. They have that metallic, which the original called for did not have. And she's gonna be so magical. I'm so excited. I can't believe the stitching's done. It kind of blows my mind. Even so, it's been almost a week. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm there as Lala D Stitches, and I show more often. You get some kind of sneak peek previews of what will be shown in my videos as I do little updates in between videos. I'm not like an everyday poster, but I try to do, 5 or 6 between each video so that you're getting some updates, and it's kind of fun to see the step-by-steps instead of just the wha-bam finish. So there she is. There's my beautiful Stargazer. She's on a 32 count mystery linen. I'm pretty sure it's a Zweigart. I don't know what color it is though. Or a Witchelt, excuse me, a Witchelt. I'm pretty sure it's a Witchelt. But I don't know which one. I purchased the supplies for this about 15 years ago, and I don't have any information. But it's beautiful. It's this warm kind of amber golden yumminess. And I love her. So yay. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I did it. This is the first, as far as the cross stitch. I will be beading her for a while. You can see she's got lots of magic going up here and just all the stuff. When I finished stitching her, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm totally going to finish her by the end of the year. And if I stitched nothing else, yes, I could. But we're going into Christmas. I have way too many fun ideas and projects to only exclusively focus on her. So that won't be happening. But she's just sitting out with her beads. It's a big old mess next to my couch where I stitch. And she's getting at least 15 minutes or so of attention every day. So it will happen sooner than later because of that. She's not getting to put away until she's done. So, and then she might just have to be framed because it would be too exciting. And she would be my first full-size Mirabilia that I've completed. So, yay! Let's see. Okay, I had some Stitchy Kindness. I have a Buy Me a Coffee linked on all of my videos, and over the last couple of months I've had four lovely I don't know where it is, donations. And so I wanted to say a special thank you to Donna, Ellen, Jack, and Mar, who were so generous and gave me a little extra Stitchy spending money. And so when I found out that there was, in October, I stitched the Mirabilia Halloween fairy. And when I found out there was a Thanksgiving fairy, I jumped on 123 Stitch so fast that the internet spun. So here is what that is. It is so, so pretty. I'm learning that this is a series of fairies, and I want to catch them all. They're so pretty, and they're small. If I had started this sooner, she would have been more of a focus, but I got a good start on her. So I bought the pattern and all of the floss, and then her little pack of beads, which is only part of the beads. They must have been out of the other one when I shopped, but that's okay. I have a small collection of beads at this point, as I've been prepping for other larger projects, and so I can I'll find something from what I have. But I have a stash of fabric, so I kind of did floss tosses on, here's all my pretty floss, haphazardly in my project bag. This is my Tilda bag. I love this bag. Isn't she a lovely lady in the autumn leaves? Oh, our autumn was so gorgeous. It's like pretty much officially over at this point. We had a huge wind/rain storm about a week and a half ago, and we went from this beautiful, it was like a screensaver, just falling leaves. Every time I looked out the window, the leaves, it seems like the leaves go from the tree to the ground without really seeing much action. But this one day, and I wound up putting it in my Instagram stories because it was just so beautiful, and every time I looked out the window, which I've got a big window right here, if I ever look off to the side, I'm looking at my trees because I'm cool like that. But anyways, this day in particular, every time I looked up, it was just this gentle cascade of leaves coming down, and it was so, so beautiful. It just made me peaceful inside. And then 2 days later, the storm came through, and all of the trees were naked. I mean, it was just like whoosh. So our trees are bare. Except for a few stubborn stragglers, and that's okay because seasons change. So, but anyways, my lady walking in the leaves is what triggered that story. So here's my project bag. Back to Thanksgiving Thanksgiving Harvest Fairy is what she's called. And I picked, it's a parchment, fiber on a whim, parchment, 32 count. And not a huge start, but a solid start. And she is going to be so pretty. Now, if you watched my videos last month, the same thing that happened with my Halloween fairy, where this inner lightest color is depicted, I mean, it's got to just be a dye lot issue. Time changes dye lots in overdyed flosses, and it's very much a variegated lavender. And in person, this reads a little bit more purple than it's showing up in the video. Let's see if I can get good. Yeah, it's not going to show. It reads really white, and it is considerably lighter, but it is still a lavender. It worked out so well in the Halloween fairy. It just looked so good that I'm going to trust the process with this one. We're going to trust the process and assume that she too will be just beautiful and elegant. And look at the colors in her leaves. Oh my goodness. She's so beautiful. And really, she could almost be up, just because of her colors, she could almost be up through Christmas. I don't know, these are some reds and pinks and stuff in there. She's beautiful. I'm so excited. So thanks for Stitchy Kindness, because that's what made this project possible. And it's very exciting. As we are less than a week from Thanksgiving at this point, I fear the progress on all of these projects will slow dramatically because, as I mentioned, I'm ready for Christmas. So, at least well, yeah, I'm just ready for Christmas. Okay. This one was, and I just realized I do not have my tablet in here at all. So, not most of these. Do I have my telephone? No, I'm sorely unprepared. Whatever. We're gonna go old school. I'll just tell you what's different on projects. This one was a new start on the, let me look at my book of days. Oh, I forgot to show that. See, I'm just so excited to be here. My brain's like skipping all the steps. This is my book of days. It's a very, I normally put stickers on. I don't have any Halloween stickers because I've run out. So I guess I need to go to Michael's or something. But I've still been tracking. These were kind of the projects I planned on working on. If they have a line through them, I've wound up I've chosen not to work on them. And a circled or highlighted square is either a finish or a new start. So this is the day I finished Stargazer, and these are my 3 new starts for this season. And I have not done any stitching on, if it's crossed out, it means I didn't do any stitching. So I've had some pretty busy moments, but I've still gotten a lot of good stitching on the days that I had. Anyways, I started this Feast of Friendship by Blackbird Designs. It's all over Flosstube right now because it is spectacular. It's so beautiful. I mean, I love it. I truly, truly love it. Blackbird Designs, if you see it, snatch it, because I just have dreams of this and my turkey sitting on the mantle, like next to each other, looking so handsome and beautiful. It'll happen because I kicked butt. Made lots of progress. And it looks a little bare. Okay, I made lots of progress. I did. This is a new start. Like, the whole border is done except for 2 corner leaves. And I filled in like the 500 million stitches in the pumpkin, which is so beautiful and rich. But I tell you what, I got about halfway through it and I was like, which means I'm gonna have to do a little bit of the house like every time I pick it up, because the house is woof. It's dense. That whole square is full coverage stitching. So the bowl will be the most fun, and that's why I'm saving it for last. Because that's where all the, fruits and feast and everything, all the colors come in, and it will be super fun to stitch that. I started with the border because I love the border. The border and the bowl are what made me want to stitch this. I mean, I love everything about it, but started with the border, and it was such a funny thing. It was, when I started it, I did a center start. So I started on the bowl, and then I did this, and then I did the house, and then I did the border. And it was all done so that I could count accurately out here, because I've had several times this year, several times this year, where my counting has been flawed. And because counting is hard. And so I was going to make sure as much as I could that my border was in the right spot. And I really wanted to work right to left because I stitch in hand. So when I stitch, I'll hold my fabric like this and stitch, and it's much easier to work over when you're having to do single stitches with variegated flosses. So anyways, it's a super beautiful start. I love it. He'll probably get at least one more day before Thanksgiving is over, just because it's a technical term. This is his project bag he lives in. I make all of my own project bags, and everybody always tells me to just show them, so I'm going to start showing them. Okay, next one I started at the end of September, I think it was. Yes. And this is the little, you know what? I'm gonna pause my video and get my tablet, because this one has it's 9 patterns put together into one image, and I just need, I want to be able to show you, if you haven't seen it before, what it will really be. So you won't notice this, but I'll be right back. I'm back. I got my tablet and it's all charged up, which is good because sometimes I pick it up and it's totally dead. So this is Little House Needleworks on the Farm, and it is so lovely. I am stitching it as seen here. So all 9 patterns on one piece of fabric. And I'm stitching it so far anyways as called for. I haven't made any changes. There is, if you're interested in this pattern, it's just worth looking at as an option. Vonna Pfeiffer did a beautiful border that goes around it, and I almost did it, but I would have had to buy like a half yard of fabric to do it on the count I'm doing it on, which is, I think it's just a 28 count. No, it's 30 count. Never mind. But still, I would have had to go smaller to get the border in, and I just wanted something comfortable and easy to stitch on. So a larger count made sense. Really, like 32, 28 count is such an easy count of linen to stitch on. I find it very comfortable. Anyways, so I started in the center, and that's all I had. I'm pretty sure that's all I had done when we met last time. Let's see here where we started. I've got the pictures now I can show you. Beautimus. So this is where I was, and I don't remember if I had those two or not. No, I didn't. This is okay. This is a lie. This is not where I was. I had just done the center, but I was planning on starting the other 2. So as you can see there, where's my board? Underneath my project bag, which is this. Good thing the glare covered up my chart. There we go. With my funny chickens. Okay, here we go. So I'd done the center, and I only remember, this is where I am. I only remember that I had not done the borders yet, because this border in particular, it's so simple, right? It shouldn't be complicated, but I kid you not, I stitched it 3.5 times. Because every time I would get over to the other side, it wouldn't line up, it wouldn't match, and I would have left out a center square or like just weird little random things. So, and they were still spaced appropriately. So it was a total like mind bender to to find where the error was, because from a distance it was spaced appropriately, so it looked like it was right, but it wasn't. Anyways, I finally got it right and got my borders in, and then I had to take a picture because it was way more of an achievement than I planned on it being. And then we had gone to a corn maze in the last week or so of October. So my goodness, it's been almost a month since we've met. Like, I start thinking about all of these things that have happened. It's been a crazy month. Okay, anyways, I had to do the scarecrow and the corn maze next because it felt appropriate since I had been at a corn maze. And this square, I just got the fence, some stemless pumpkins and some headless chickens. So it's just a small start. There's a little house that goes in there, and well, I can show you. I have it right here. There we go. Pretty house with a bird on the chimney. Oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. So, and then I think I only have one more chart, and I'll have to get, I've been buying the charts as I do them, and so I'm almost caught up on what I have. I'll have to go get some more when I get that one done. But exciting. This is on the called for fabric. It's a 30 count portobello linen, and I actually love it. It just has this natural rustic feel to it, and all of the colors pop on it without it. Oftentimes the colors pop really well off of like a gray or a white, but I don't like stitching on white because it's boring. And let's see, how can I, there we go. And you know, not every project calls for a gray. So this is kind of a nice in-between, like, you know, there's some brown to it, gray to it. It's just a nice neutral. I really like it. I would totally put a fat quarter in my stash just to have on hand. What is next? Okay, next one lives in this bag with my Acorns and Threads fob, which I love. That was, I've only lived in the Seattle area for a year, just a little over a year. And it's just a stop on the way. My husband's in a training program, and so we're here for 18 to 24 months, and then we move on to Points Unknown. So that'll be coming up next year. It'll be a big adventure. You can come with me. What is this? Okay, I just wanted to say the brand name right because it's an older one, and I never know. There are a few like sister companies. Anyways, brain. This is Lavender and Lace County Fair. See if I can get it to focus. Focus. My janky manicure. County Fair. She is so elegant and beautiful. I love her. I've had her in my stash for years and years and years, and finally it was the year to give her a start. So it's not a huge start, but again, a solid start, kind of like my fairy. So I did a center start, and then I just worked up her apron, and I don't have one of the blues. So that kind of slowed me down because it would have required counting, and as I mentioned earlier, I am counting shy right now. So I don't really want to go out into the stratosphere of my fabric and then have to pull everything out, because I've done it many times. Okay, so yeah, it'll be beautiful. I'm stitching this on a vintage country mocha, which I think I mentioned last time. I wasn't aware. Everybody loves it. I love it too. I'm totally sold. It's got that warmth, some movement. It's great. But it's printed. I didn't realize it was printed. So yeah, it's great. I love it. And I'm really excited to get, again, into her table and the arch around her. That's really like the bee's knees of the project. But I've learned over my fancy lady experiences, starting them, that if you do the fun parts first, sometimes the dresses can be intimidating. So I'm starting with her dress. Starting with her dress. And then I'll get to do all the fun stuff. All right. You've seen him before. You love him. Next up is Turkey Day, or Tom Turkey as I call him, or Mr. Tom. And he's awesome. He's so good. By Cottage Garden Samplings. This is his mangled home because I started him last November. And I do have, where's my tablet? There it is. a before picture of this one, or where we started. We came into him this year like this. So I did good progress on him last year. He was really, I was very enthusiastic about it, kind of rode the wave and made tons of progress on him. And I had hoped to finish him this year, but then I started 3 new projects and then didn't stitch on at least 5 days at all. So, you know, it just he didn't get finished, but it's okay. He got lots of love and he's getting there. He's really, really close. So what I've been doing is I've made Mr. Turkey. I'll just show him to you so you can look at him while I chatter. Here he is. He's so handsome. This is a Picture This Plus Outrageous, I believe is what it's called. I don't have a tag still. I'm pretty sure I say this every time. I just want to be consistent. So, Turkey Day, what was I saying? Oh, yes, I've made him a focus project. So what that means is you can see I've kind of either assigned a day or I write down what I'm stitching on. But before I stitch on whatever my main, like what I really want to stitch on, okay, that sounds bad because I do want to stitch on him, but it's not inaccurate. Like if I want to stitch on Feast of Friendship, I will first give him an hour. So I'm getting stitches into him every day. And that's worked really well. I've done it with other projects before when I really wanted to give it some stitches, but I didn't want to just monogamously stitch it. So it gives it a little bit of love. So I finished his chest, built out his wings, which I started filling in. We've got some leaves starting to pop around him. His tail is complete. And I've just got a few stitches here that are missing. It's one of those, you play chicken with your thread, and I didn't quite make it. And so when I fill in this leaf, that's the same color. I can just, or no, the stems, excuse me. It's the stem color. When I start doing those, I can use the tail of one of those and add in that last 7 stitches or whatever it is. So, but he's so handsome. I love him. I have done a couple of color conversions. His tail, for instance, is denim. I have a chart right here. Let me get it. Here we go. Distressed denim. I believe that's a Gentle Arts. I didn't write on my code. Looks like these are all Gentle Arts. So distressed denim, and then in the neck they didn't have one of the colors, and that was switched for Briar Rose. And then his face is a solid in the chart, but it was really a vibrant blueberry color. So I went with a variegated blueberry, which was a bit more subtle, but still a nod to the called for color. It reads pretty denim-y, frankly, in the camera, but it has a purple undertone to it. Anyways, I love how he's turning out. He's so handsome. Yeah. I'll definitely finish him next year. There's no doubt. And like I said, I'm dreaming of a mantle with my turkey and my Feast of Friendship. So who knows? We've got 12 months till next November. They might see themselves getting some attention before the season so they could be done. Who knows? It could happen. It could happen. Okay, so that's everything I stitched on. That is that. It looks like next on my list I was going to talk about plans. So let's do that. Let's talk about plans. So I'll probably sprinkle in as kind of like stitch 2 projects in a day thing. my turkey and Feast of Friendship. Those will probably get at least one more day of stitching over the next week. But then I'm ready to kind of tuck everything else away and move into Christmas stitching, because everybody's been stitching Christmas for weeks now, and I want to. It looks like so much fun. So let's look at my bucket of plans here. Oofda. Now I did warn you, precursor, that I'm doing a lot of starts over the next, over the next month, because I have several Christmas starts, and then I also am going to participate in the 12 by 12, but like for realsies this year. Last year I did a pseudo 12 by 12, which is where you take, I had never heard of it until last year, and I found out about it like a week before New Year's, so right around Christmas, and I wasn't prepared to commit to starting 12 new projects in the 12 hours as a countdown to the new year. Also, stitching for 12 hours was like, woof. But we are not traveling. All of my family lives far away now. Everybody has fled. They've run away from us in the last year. All of our parents, literally all of our parents, moved from the Pacific Northwest to far, far away. And with the last move just having happened this last weekend. So nobody lives close and nobody's able to travel this year. So we are just on our own, and it will be a lovely, quiet holiday with all the food and all the Christmas movies and all the cross stitching. Yay! Anyway, so I am going to do 12 by 12 this year. And even if I just did, because I know my hands and I don't want to 24 hours of cross stitch is always something I hear about people doing. And I think it would be so much fun, especially if you had people to do it with. But my hands would die. So anyways, that's just, yeah. I will probably, instead of doing a countdown, I will do like a few hours, like maybe do 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the middle, and then like the countdown in the evening towards midnight. And if I were to do, it's just starts. So it doesn't, in my version, 12 by 12 according to Laura, I don't have to stitch for the whole hour. So it's getting a start, which is always the brain part of a project, and then it's ready to stitch through the year. So I will be doing that. So those new starts, and then I have Christmas new starts. That's what all of that was. So please excuse me while my starditis flares. And it's gonna be excellent. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna have to do a plan video, because I've been thinking for at least the last couple months. It's been interesting. I normally don't start making plans until pretty much right before the new year. And this has just been, and I don't think I'm alone in this. I've been watching quite a bit of Flosstube, and I'm not alone in this. Other people are starting to make plans earlier too. And I don't know, maybe it's just a need to feel like there is a plan, in control. We can control our stitching or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's fun to dream about new projects and what the plan is for next year. Could be so many things. And it's probably a combination of all of them. So, yeah. Anyways, got lots of plans. I think I'm pretty much going to stitch from stash. It'll be good. Shall I look at my Christmas plans? Let's do that. Let me stop chattering and we can look at my Christmas plans. So I have some whips that I'm pulling out. I have my zipper, sorry. See if I can make noise over the zipper and then it won't matter. My beautiful Snow Queen. And she might not come out till later in the month because she'll really be a focus in January. February because she's wintry. But I want to start working on her. I have a pretty good start. I'll just show you where I am because she's convenient. That's what I did last year. Oh, she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. Yes. So I'll work on her, and I have all of her beads because I was gifted beads by someone lovely last year, and so she's ready to like just dive into full swing. I got another zipper, sorry. I did not unzip all of my Christmas packages, apparently. Okay, I'm gonna pull out this one from Satsuma Street I started last year. Deck the Halls, which is just plain fun. This is the modern color palette that I see a lot of people do. Like you'll see like the I don't know, Pinterest or Instagram pictures. I'm like, I don't have any pink in my or blue in my Christmas decorations. I tend to be very traditional. And there we go. Yeah, I tend to be very traditional, and I love that. I just love classic, traditional, kind of elegant without being extra Christmas. But I also love this. So I have decided, and I think I talked about this last year, that here's where I was. So I got one full square and then the start on the next one down. Fun. That'll be fun to work on. Anyways, I've decided that I'm going to do this palette in my sewing room. So I'll decorate my sewing room, especially since I'm doing videos now. And I can show it off. Yeah, I'm just going to do the fun, colorful palette in here, and it'll be so fun. In fact, yesterday I was out and I found this cute little like 4 or 5 inch nutcracker that's porcelain and pink, and it's so cute, and it was only $1. So I was like, you're coming home with me. You're going to my sewing room. Yep, it'll be fun. Let's see. I may or may not work on, just depending on what catches my fancy, but it'll go in my bucket. My Barbara Anna Santa's Trips, which I worked on a little bit in July and got 2 squares done on. They go really fast when you focus on them. Anyway, super fun. So I want to get some work on that. At least 1 square would be nice if I were to tentatively set a goal. And then my last whip that I'll work on a little bit is my beautiful, beautiful Santa. This is Lavender and Lace Gift of Peace. He also came out in July, which was the first time I had done Christmas stitching in July. I did it for the last week of July, and I loved that. I might continue that this year, or this coming year, because I did a sci-fi July theme, which was really fun. But then at the last week, I switched over to Christmas in July, and I got a lot of work done on him. I only did the 2 projects, Santa's Trips and this, and each one got 3 days, and it was excellent. It was really fun. So those are my whips, and then what is this? Yes, that's still a new start. It just actually has a project bag. I've been trying to get project bags for all of my things. I actually have a stack of in-process bags back there, but I need to find some batting scraps or something so that I can make more. So this is an older project bag, but the project is, I realized we didn't have any nativity stitching, and this is a black and white picture, but Holy, Holy, Holy by Cosford Rise Stitchery. It was on Etsy, and it was on sale, and so I was like, yeah, that's cute. And one thing I liked about it is that a lot of nativities, and there's nothing wrong with other nativities. It's not like, they're beautiful. I've spent some time looking. I have it all kitted up and ready to go. I did my own custom colors because it's called for overdyes, and I just kind of used, if I had the called for, I kind of sprinkled those in and then just filled in from stash. Anyways, there's a lot of really, really beautiful nativities out there. But I'm definitely in a phase where I don't know, I just want diversity in my flesh tones when I'm stitching. And so that was one thing I liked about this one, is that they weren't all porcelain skinned people. So white people. There was diversity, and I love that. And I think it'll be really cute. And I'm doing it on one of my dyed Adas. And so, yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fun. I'll just get a smart start on it. I don't know. It's one that I want to do, but it's not like high on my excitement priority list. I don't know. Next one. Oh yeah, I hadn't decided if I'm actually starting this one, but I did kit it up. I bought this pattern last year, and he's so lovely. Like I said, I like the traditional Christmas. It's just so lovely. So this is by Homespun Elegance, Cinnamon Stick Christmas, Wishing Bee Merriness. And he is lovely. The ruff of his coat calls for Whisper, and I don't think I will use Whisper. I'll just use something else. I've, again, oops, this one's messy. Pulled some colors from Stash, and I'm working on just this kind of natural linen. Sun's starting to come around. Gotta work quickly. It gets so bright in here. It's beautiful. But because the trees have lost all of their leaves, it's like right in the face. Oh, I showed this last time. This was haul last time. So pretty. Sugar Plum Village. I can hardly wait. This one will probably be started in the next week. Because I don't want to wait. I'm excited about it. And then I dug through my stash and found colors for my Quirky Quaker stocking, which is the only ornament I'm doing this year. Last year I did a lot, and it was really fun, but it kind of took away from other time. So I'm going to do one out of the Snowball by Brenda Gervais, and see if I can bend it so that I don't show a chart. It's this cute little gingerbread house. Snowy chalet. So cute. I'm going to have to... I might have to close the window. The blinds anyways. And then no, not quite. Okay, there's two more. Like I said, some of these will get more attention than others. Some of them will just be starts. It's good. It's good. I realized I don't have a lot of whips for Christmas time, so I just kind of dove into it. And I was able to kit, other than this one, which was an impulse buy last month, last month. No, it would have been almost 2 months ago. Oh my goodness. No, last month. It was October. Oh, I'm getting lost in a whirlwind of time. Okay. Anyways, pretty much everything has come from Stash, other than the nativity pattern and that. So not too bad, right? This was last year's Jingle Ball, one of the Jingle Ball exclusives, and it's called Peppermint Candy. It is from Lindy Stitches and has just been released to the general public. So it's available, which is very exciting. I'm going to stitch it on, oh my goodness, it's not going to show, this very soft pink with what looks like snowflakes coming down. I think that'll be darling. And some of the colors are like Forbidden Fiber Co's, which I don't have any of. So I have done a custom pull from Stash. And this is in an old bag. Anyways, that will be, I'm excited about that one too. Something about the, like, again, that fresher palette is really appealing to me this year. So I've got several projects in that, and they may, just because they're happy, get more attention. Let me tuck these in my box real quick and get it out of my face. And I'll show you my last one, which will definitely just be a start. It's not going to be a start and finish by any means because it is big. But it's so good. And I just finished kitting up some of the floss for it. So it comes from 101 Best Loved Designs from Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine, which I was gifted a box of miscellaneous cross stitch stuff earlier this summer from my mother-in-law and when they were moving. And then I had already had a small collection of them because they have those beautiful stockings in them. I don't know if they feature, no, but my mom had done 4 stockings for our family from those magazines, and I have this dream of someday making one for my husband so that we have matching stockings. I will do it, but I have a whole collection of them because of that. Anyways, beautiful designs. I've really fallen in love with some of the older, 80s, early 90s charts in the last year. So I was digging through this, and I think it's this tab. You can see there are several tabs. Yes. And this Santa, he is so jolly and elegant and lovely. I just fell in love with him. So my friend and I, hi Jill, we've been looking through for the last month. I think it's been around the last month, but really heavily over the last couple weeks. All of our Santa patterns, and we'd kind of decided that she's like, well, should I start a Santa? If you're going to start a Santa, I should start a Santa. We could do a little Sal, kind of an impromptu Sal. And I was like, yeah, that'd be super fun. And then as I've thought more about it, I was like, okay, we need a hashtag. So it's going to be Start a Santa Sal. Hashtag Start a Santa Sal. And so we're just going to start a Santa. And I think I'm starting 2 Santas. So you can start more than one, and you don't have to finish it because you're just starting it. But this is, it's epic. It's full coverage. The only thing that's not full coverage is the ivy border. I just love him. So I'll be stitching him on antique ivory, and the colors, it's interesting. I did this little color swirl once there are so many colors, and it reads very pink and blue just because of what showed up. But I just did one length of all the colors I had. I think there are 64 colors in this. It's big. And I may just do a corner start on it. It'll be a multi-year project, and that's great. I do need to find a way, though, to get the chart out of the book. I'll just cover up most of it and show you, because there is some, it's not like clear into the binding, but where it's full coverage, I'd really like to be able to mark off what I've done, and I don't want to write in my pretty book. So I tend to make working copies of my charts so that I can mark them up. And yeah, anyways, so I need to be able to do that because this is such a big project that I don't want my book to just like get all mangled up. Anyway, so I need to figure out how to do that. That's my problem, I guess. Anyway, so that'll be fun. I'll start a Santa. That's going to start December 1st. We decided that we'll start our Santas. She's picked a really cute one, and it's totally different from mine, and I love it. I spent a lot of time looking through this book, which was a gift from Whittier Stitches last year, which was so lovely. I have so many fun, lovely stitchy friends, and I really thought about stitching this one, which looks totally like disjointed because of the binding. Like, what a tragic way to display that chart. But I think he is lovely. Anyways, so, you never know what could happen. But I love so many Santas. It's been really fun to look through my books. Those are the 2 books, but yeah, so that's my plans. Kind of diving into Christmas, sprinkling a couple of my Thanksgiving charts in for the next week, and then yeah, just being all jolly with my stitching. I am attending the Jingle Ball, which will be super fun. That's the first weekend of December. I'm not taking any classes, but I bought the $10 admission ticket, which gives you all 3 days. Oh, okay, I'm back again. Sorry about that. My husband called. He was on his lunch. So, let me see. I made a little note that I was talking about the Jingle Ball when he called because I knew it would take me a second to kind of get back in where I was. It's been about half an hour. So, but just moments for you. Isn't that wild? You know, I hear people say that like, you know, you guys won't even notice the difference. And it's true because it all gets kind of edited into one little stream. But some videos require more editing than others. A little interruptions here and there. That's okay. That's okay. It's all good. So Jingle Ball, I bought the general admission ticket, which gets you in. You get to do all the fun things. You get access to all the patterns, all the shops and stuff. And if we do it anything like last year, my sister and I FaceTimed while we shopped it, and it was really fun. So I'm looking forward to that. That may or may not demote some other starts and make those just be kits and have me reallocating resources and stuff like that to a new project. We'll see how that goes, but I'm looking forward to it. It was really fun last year, and it was pretty much a given that I would be joining this year. So yeah, that'll be super fun. Okay, so I do have some haul. The first little bit is Stitchy Kindness. A viewer reached out to me named Jack, and they said, hey, I have 2 of this pattern, and would you like the other one? And it happened to be and that it kind of features the Pacific Northwest, and it made them think of me. And it has actually been one that I've had my eyes on since it was released, and so I was like, yes, please. So thank you, Jack, for Forest Home. I'm so excited. I actually have a couple of pieces of linen up on my shelf here that I want to audition for this, and it's mostly DMCs. A couple Weeks Dye Works, a couple Classic Color Works, but mostly DMCs. So we'll see if I can't pull a kit together for this and maybe it'll be one of my 12 by 12 starts. So I'm very excited. Thank you very much for that. And then I got my Floss Fix from Fat Quarter Shop. I do the Classic Color Works, and I got in a good time. When I started it a few months ago, they were in the either late B's or early C's. It just goes alphabetical. And so, you know, hopefully over the next year, I'll have a fairly, you know, comprehensive collection. But excited to get that. I tend to get them and tuck them into my little boxes. I store my floss in boxes, and they get used rather quickly. But that's great. Okay, so I guess this would be part of my December plans because I'm going to start it ASAP. But it's also haul. So I saw, this is Prairie Schooler, book number 198, The Christmas Tree Farm. And I'd seen it before. It's super cute. But it was definitely one of those ones that's like, oh, that's super cute. I really like that. Scroll, you know. But then I saw this last week, the Humble Stitcher posted on Instagram her finish. And oh my gosh. It went from, oh, that's cute, to, I need that. I love it. I love what she did with, and this is just my crappy little printer. I copied and pasted and printed out so I would have my inspiration picture. And then I've gone through and pulled a whole bunch of colors that I'll just kind of play with. I think it's just going to be like playing. I'll be like, okay, she did kind of a blue house. Let's try to find kind of a blue color or something. So it'll be a nod to the inspiration of what she did. but my own version of it, you know? And I love it. It just lightened it up, and it still has that classic feel, but just is a little fresher. And oh, I love it. So yeah, that was really fun to see. And when I found it at Threadneedle Street while I was there a couple days ago, I was like, all right, this is happening. I'm also going to stitch mine on gray. Oops, sorry, chart. I didn't mean to show chart there. I just got kind of like a all strapped together kind of mess here, but yeah, I'm really excited. So the pattern was haul, and then I pulled everything else from stash. So I love being able to do that. That's the fun part of a stash is, you know, that becomes, the pattern was $12. So it's at this point a $12 project. We're not going to talk about the dollars that went into the collection process. It's all good. We all have our stashes, right? Okay, so the next one, I've been drawn to this one since its release. Lila's Studios, or Lila's Studios, everybody says it different. Lila's Studios, The Lord's Prayer, which is just beautiful. And I've seen a few people starting to stitch it up. It's charted in DMCs. I did little samples there because I knew I wanted to swap out a few colors at least for some over dyed. I want my greens to have a little bit of movement, so my greens are over dyed, and then a couple of the flower colors are going to be over dyed. But I got that pattern off of Etsy and downloaded that, and then while I was at the shop, I got some beautiful linen, and here are the colors. Again, mostly the DMCs with just a couple, like these greens and these pinks are my choices to kind of customize it a little bit. And when my husband saw this, it was just sitting on my desk while I was kind of plotting out what I wanted to do, and he really liked it. So, which surprised me. He doesn't often say anything about my stitching, but he really liked this, and so I want to get started on that soon. I don't know if I'll wait till the 12 by 12 or I'll just tuck a start in there somewhere, but it's all kitted, it's ready to go, so I can kind of do it at my leisure at this point. Next bit of haul, and I've got linen tucked in here, but this is a book. This was actually the first book that I ever remember buying when I started cross stitching as a kid. And it's old. It's 1994, so older. It's not old, but 1994, and I was fairly certain it was out of print, but I managed to find a copy, and it's in spectacular condition. I mean, it's like brand new, which is awesome. It's called Birthday Faeries. The designer is Baatz, and yeah, I'm super excited. So I just have some white linen. Oh, chart again. I'm on a roll apparently. I've got some sunshine coming in. I'm just gonna pull this down. Ooh, I hate to block it out, but the glare is getting a little stronger. So yeah, I just have some white linen, which is great. I tried to think of different colors, and because all of the fairies are so different, I don't think I'll stitch all of them. But I really like November and February, and March is lovely. July is gorgeous. December is really pretty. So, I mean, there's going to be a handful that I'd really like to stitch at some point. They're not big. There's a lot of back stitching on them, as there are on, you know, the 90s patterns really had tended to have, not exclusively, but tended to have a lot of back stitching. And I realize now my notes are covering up April here. But I thought it'd be cute to stitch them up and finish them as little wall quilts or maybe flat folds. They'll be like 5 by 7 when they're finished, even on a 28 count. So they're not big, and they're really sweet, and yeah, I love them. I think they're really cute. So Those will show up at some point. But it was nice to be able to find that. Okay, what else do I have in here? Okay, a little fandom stitch I found while I was on Etsy. I found this. It's called Sailor Moon Rainbow Transformation by, let's see, Semina Stitch on Etsy. So she's so pretty. I haven't done any kitting up of her yet. I just printed out the pattern, and you know, she'll come out at some point. You know, she'll do something. She might just, the pattern might just go into the stash for a while, but I love Sailor Moon. I watched and read Sailor Moon, and you know, it's just a fandom stitch. It'll be fun. Great colors. Speaking of fandom stitch, here's my super pretty, my printer ran out of ink. But don't worry, the next page is better. This is called The Shop Around the Corner. And I don't think my sister watches these. This will be a gift for my sister. Here it is. I thought that the background was just white with some freckles in there, but it is full coverage. So it's a bit bigger of a project than I thought. Originally, I was hoping I could start it and then gift it to her for either her birthday or Christmas next year. And I just don't know that that's realistic. Because there is so much stitching, but one of her favorite movies is You've Got Mail, because she's a classy girl and she's awesome like that. And so I thought this would be a really lovely gift for her, The Shop Around the Corner. So I don't know if it was intended as a fandom stitch, but it feels like a fandom stitch. I'm making it one. Okay. So yeah, a few little patterns off of Etsy, my old find, and then the last thing was the most impulsive purchase. And it is one of the fastest purchases I've ever made, because Enchanted Aurora by Joan Elliot. Oh my goodness. Everything, the colors, her skirt, the animals, the beautiful multicolored leaves falling down, just the frostiness, her gentle expression. I love this project. I think, and I can't wait till January. It definitely reads winter, January kind of feel to it, but I can't wait till January. So I think December 21st or whenever the winter equinox is when I'll start this one, because I also bought linen, which, let me pop it out of the plastic. It's so beautiful. Has like all those colors in it, but it's so subtle. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Beautiful, beautiful. It is called Mystery Fabric. It's not Mystery Fabric. I know what it is. I just have to find the tag. Looks like I got a side without a tag. Oh, fiddle. All right, well, I will figure out what it's called before you see it again, because it's a Picture This Plus. It's probably called like Magical Magic or something like that. I should be naming fabrics. Magical Magic. Anyways, I think she's gorgeous, and I can hardly wait to start her. I love it. Love it. Yeah, it's so good. Anyways, all the good things, all the fun things. I love stitching. I love stitching. So, yay! Yay for haul. I believe that is more than enough for that. So, I will end the cross-stitching portion of the segment here. Thank you for watching. If you're not interested in quilting, I will see you next time. And my videos will be separate from now on, but it's just easier today to film it all at once. So thank you for coming. Happy stitching, my friends. Let's talk a little bit of quilting. I hope you'll stay with me, because I have 2 quilt tops to show you. It's so exciting. And then I have one Christmas project that I've already started that I'll be making progress. So I just want to recap on that. I've got a winter project that I have pretty much kitted up, so I'm going to do some cutting out on that, so we'll talk briefly about that, and then I will skedaddle. So, let me pull out my binder, shift gears. So if you're new, this is my binder of brain, because my brain is everywhere and nowhere all at once, and I keep track of my current goals and my whip list, and then all of these tabs are different projects. So you've got, like, this isn't one we're going to talk about right now, but this is Baker's Dozen that I've started. I've got the different stages of the pattern, a master picture, and my color palette page, which I love doing these, because if I ever come back, like I finish this project and I ever come back and want to do something similar or just see what I've done before, it's turned into a great resource for me. And then into my next one, and you can see I make little check marks as I finish off different things. And again, it's just, you know, it's a list making thing. It makes me feel good and helps me keep track. And so that's the binder down low. Let me find my pictures for the ones that I did. Where's Ghost Quilt? I don't know where it is. Well, color me unprepared. Okay, well, Ghost Quilt. It's by Then Came June, and I started it at the beginning of October. I think I'd done some cutout in September, but I'm not even going to bother showing you the binder because it's just 2 pages. So it's not important. What is important is the fact that I got it done. So I finished this before November, before Halloween, actually. I think it was like the week before Halloween. It went super quickly. Once I had completed a few blocks, you know, it just became, they're all the same. The only difference is the tails go different directions. So it was just tallying how many tails went what way and were completed, and then it was just stitching. So it went really quickly. And it's cute. Okay, I'll just bring it up close. Hopefully the colors will show, because everything is pretty much orange and black. So we've got little orange faces, little batty bats. All of the eyes and mouths are the same. I wanted, even though I was doing it scrappy, low volume, I wanted it to be connected. You know, I wanted there to be some, I don't know, I feel like when you go scrappy, having something that is a calming effect amongst all the scrappiness, so all of the eyes and faces being the same instead of scrappy, it just helps it stay fun and not overwhelming. It's covered in strings, but that's okay. Well, there the colors show better. Just have to get close enough. We've got so much light, we're overexposed. So you can see, like, the little squares are orange. That's orange and black. This one, even though it's subtle, is also orange and black. These little pumpkins are my favorite ones, and they're like the surprise fabric. It's so much more flashy than a lot of the others, but it's turned into one of my favorite ones because it is just a little fun spot in the quilt. Anyway, so that's the idea. That's that. So, yeah. I have a quilt top. It's super cute. It's super fun. So over the next year, I'll be keeping my eyes out for the perfect backing fabric, something large scale, I think, and I want it to be like just super fun artwork kind of stuff on the back. And then I will quilt it before next October so that I can put it on my couch or my chair, or, you know, I don't know where we'll be next October. We're supposed to, my husband's supposed to go into the next stage of everything. The soonest it would be is spring, but it's more likely to be late summer. And so we'll just see what stores are available and where we wind up. It'll be interesting. But I'll have a great ghost quilt when we get wherever we go. Okay, so the next one was a totally spontaneous project. I had finished Long Time Gone. Oh, Long Time Gone. I forgot to pull it. It's quilted and bound and on my couch. Well, I've paused enough. I want to just focus, and I've got things to do, my friends. So we'll have to share that anyway, that's done too. But that one's like done, and being used, and it's lovely. Okay, so from this book, there it is. Farm Girl Vintage. I've already done the sampler quilt, but you can see every block is different. So there's a lot of other things. Like this book has so much potential to be the inspiration point for any number of quilts. And in the back of the book, they did this star, what's it called? Picnic quilt. And they used the star block, and they had done it in red, white, and blue, and it's super cute. But I wanted to do autumn leaves. I call it my autumn leaves, or falling leaves, something like that. And because I thought it was just a really good setting for, you know, there's big ones and small ones, and it's not linear. They're all kind of scattered and floating. And so in the sampler block, there's a block called the Maple Leaf block. It's on page 105. If you have the book, it is that one. So what I did was I pulled my own palette. I did not spend any money on this. This is a book I've had for years. Fabric from Stash. It's fantastic. It's so good. It was so good. It was so fun. So this is my palette. I had a table out and all my buckets, and I just spent a day digging through all of my beautiful fabrics and collating? That's not the right word. Creating, we'll use a boring word. Creating this palette with low volume backgrounds, relatively speaking. You know, this one's that's not really low volume, but it works. And I like when I have my low volume that not everything is on the same level. And I very intentionally went from very light backgrounds to darker backgrounds so that there was movement, because that's really what I was looking for. One of the challenges with this was when I sat down at the machine, I had all my blocks cut out, and it was just stacks of scraps, basically. With some, like I had green stacks, I had kind of the darker rusty stack, the classic orange stack, and kind of the golden stack, right? And then my backgrounds. These are my stems. I only used two fabrics for the stems. And it was only two because of working from Stash. And it worked out really well. So this is my border. And you'll see that in just a minute because it's done. The top is done. Which, again, this one went so fast once I decided what to do. So there were a couple different ways to kind of approach this project. I could have just gone totally scrappy, just pulled whatever fabrics came to hand and made a leaf that way. But I felt like that could become really jumbled. So what I wound up doing was, I've got to use my notes here, isolating my stacks, the general color range, as I described earlier, and making scrappy leaves out of that. I had thought initially of doing one color per leaf, right? So like this color would be all of the pieces in the leaf with the scrappy background. But it quickly became apparent that I did not have enough of each fabric to do that consistently through the quilt. So it just became scrappy in a colorway, scrappy in a colorway, scrappy in a colorway. And you know, it always works out. It's so funny. It was quite a little holdup for me, like while I was figuring that out. And once I did, then it was like, okay, well, this will just be a sample block. We'll see how it goes. Well, it went, and it went really well. I'm so tickled with this quilt. This is, oh my gosh, it's, which way does it go? This way. I'll just show you. I'm going to shut up and just show you. I'm going to back up without stepping on Grace. Yeah, you're a good girl, a sleepy girl. I don't know if you can see it. Falling leaves. So oh my gosh, I just love it. It's everything I wanted it to be. It's rich and bright and I don't know. I'm in love. So this is, my border is a really old Thimbleberries fabric that I've had in my stash for oodles and oodles of time. Now I'm really covered in strings. But I'm gonna have to find, I don't have any backing fabric for it, and that's okay. Again, this is one that'll kind of sit in my closet until I find the right backing, and then I want it ready by, I would say, end of August. I would want it to be finished at least by then, so that in September I can pull it out, because one of my motivations for doing this was having it not be seasons or holiday specific. Like my ghosty quilt is super Halloween, like it's not anything else than that. But this is just autumn, so it's a bit more classic, a bit more versatile, so I could have it out from September till Christmas time. And I just love it so much. The fabrics are so interesting. Like, I love that about scrappy quilts, is that they're beautiful from a distance. You still get your images, but then up close they're just interesting to look at, and every block's a little bit different. And yeah. I love it. I'm so happy it's done. I'm honestly, like, I'm surprised. Even with as busy as I have been, I did this in about 3 weeks. Yeah, I mean, I think start to finish, about 3 weeks, which was faster than I thought. I thought if I got it done by the end of November, I'd be doing really well. And I pretty quickly realized that the blocks are simple enough that it just went really fast. And I could have it done before Thanksgiving. And then the other day, I just went into this like mega push and I sewed all day. I haven't done that in years, where I get up and I just feel like sewing and I stay in the sewing room until late afternoon. I mean, I haven't done that in so long, and it was really, really fun. And when I got done with the day, I had a quilt top. It was so fun. It was excellent. It was great. And so unexpected. So that was really fun. I got to check that off completely, and now I'm just going to start dreaming about Christmas quilts, because I'm ready to do that. So my Christmas quilt is, I only have one Christmas quilt, really. I say it plural, but it's really just the one. So it is a pattern you can find on Etsy from megancollins.com. It's called Stars Above. And this is a really washed out, it's a digital pattern, so I printed it off. I was low on toner that day, and it's kind of, but it's a really cute quilt. And I was thoroughly inspired by an Instagram, which I wrote down somewhere. at So Merry Happy on Instagram. And let me see, I have this like little micro picture. So I want to make like a little tiny vision board in my planner this year of quilting things. I did it last year for just like general and I loved it. Okay, so it's so tiny. We'll see if I can get close. Yeah, it's not going to do it justice. This is the funniest thing I've ever done. Anyways, but you can see it's that Dresden, but she did solid red behind the stars, low volumes for the backgrounds, and then Christmas prints for the Dresdens themselves. So, let me tuck my little picture stack away. So I am doing my own version inspired off of what she did. So, where's my palette? Here it is. Because that's easier than my box. Oh yeah, this is a problem I run into every time. So there's my low volumes. They're so cute. There's my solid red, and then my Dresdens. I don't have any samples of. But they are greens and reds. So I'm not throwing, and I think I have a couple in the lightly aqua, couple pinks, but it's predominantly traditional red and green, but bright, happy, fresh colors. So it's kind of a bridge between the traditional and the more modern palettes. And yeah, it's pretty much all cut out. I just have a few larger background pieces that I had gathered through the summer. I ran out of the background fabric. It takes a 10-inch square or 10-inch strip, whichever, to cut those out. And I was trying to work mostly from scraps, and I ran out of low volume Christmas themed prints. So I kind of gathered some through the summer, and now I'm ready to just cut those last, I don't know what it is, 30 backgrounds out, and then I'm ready to start stitching. So that'll be fun. The stars are foundation pieced, so it won't be fast, but that's okay. I'm just gonna get a real good solid start, and we'll see what happens. I'm not really working on any other quilts for the next month. It's just that one. So we'll see how far I can get. I did pull, when I was digging through my stash, so my sewing room becomes my guest room when I have company, and I had company for almost 2 weeks in October. And then it's been a slow reset up. It's even still not fully set up. It's functional. Clearly I've been working, but with how it is. But when I was digging out all of my autumn leaf fabrics, I came across this not old, it's only a few years old. Yeah, it looks like I bought it 3 years ago. So Pattern Basket, Silent Night, they have really cute patterns. And yeah, I love this one. It's really sweet. And when I'd gotten the pattern, I was working at Pioneer Quilts at the time, and we had this beautiful, beautiful fabric. I think it's a French General. Maybe, no, it's not. It's a laundry basket. It's so gorgeous. And so that is my border inspiration, and going off of those colors, I've pulled frosty colors. So those will be my trees, and my house will be the blues, and this will be my border. So I don't have any background fabric yet, and that's it's like 3 yards or so, 3 1/4. So I need to go find some fabric, maybe sometime in the next month. But I would like to get going on this. It's a really pretty, and I just envision it as like a wintry quilt rather than a Christmas quilt. Something that could be out after, you take all your Christmas decorations down, and everything feels so clean, but also so barren and naked. So So yeah, I'd like to get that started, at least cut out, and then we'll see how I'm feeling at the new year and what I wind up working on then. But that one's kind of in the works, and then with my Christmas one being pretty much my quilting project. So this is one of the first years I'm not doing quilted gifts. I actually did one, but I've already finished it, and it is on its way to its new home. So I don't have to spend the next month stitching gifts, which is lovely, but kind of weird. So it has me with freedom to start thinking about other things. I did see another, I've got a, like, Instagram is dangerous. It's so fun, but it's so dangerous. Found another, where's my little picture? Okay, maybe I'll look on my tablet while I'm chattering at you. So I have had this pattern for at least the last 6 months or so. I don't remember when exactly I acquired it, but it's really pretty. It's called the Birdling Quilt, and it's from Prairie Quilt Co. And it's lovely. I think it's just happy. Again, it kind of leans into my scrappy tendencies, but it's like organized chaos. And then I saw, and it is Prairie Quilt Co., of course it is, did this post a month or so ago, and that palette just like drew me in, the kind of frosty purples into the pinks, and I am totally feeling it. I'm totally feeling it. So she was a doll and listed out all of her art gallery solids down there, and I want to use that palette for this. It would be super fun. I mean, I don't think it's something I would start until potentially February, so I've got time to collect and do that, but wouldn't that be fun? It'd be so fun. Such happy quilts. So that's kind of in the wings. And then my only haul, because that I've had, I just printed it out so it feels new, is this Vintage Flower Sampler Quilt. And this is a designer that I actually have another one of her books. It's right here. It's called Happy Flower Quilts. They're just, I mean, she has a definite vibe about her projects, right? They're sweet and bright and typically a lot of applique. I'm working on that one right now. Yeah, anyway, so that's her old book, and I didn't realize she had another book until I was scrolling through the Instagram and saw this. I was like, all right, I don't know when I'll start this one, but it's super cute, and there's a block in there. I don't know if it shows on this. It's orange slices, and it was really all about the orange slices. Let's see here. Where's a good picture of the quilt? Oh, there it is. Or grapefruit. Grapefruit maybe is what that is. Oh, I love it. That's so cute. I mean, the fruit. It's just, you know, tiny food is, I don't know. And there's pears. It's so cute. It's so happy. And so, again, it's in the wings. There are no immediate plans to start this, but I love it and I want to make it at some point. So, so there you go. That is my Quilting Bee, the shortest Quilting Bee ever because I'm trying to abbreviate everything. But yeah, I've been busy. The only thing I have not done is filmed the coloring tutorial for embroidery, and everything is sitting right here ready to go for it, and every time I come in, either my brain's just not quite in the right place or the lighting is wrong, and so I always wind up making excuses. It will happen at some point, but but I'm not going to promise a date on it yet. It is in the works. I even bought like a little stick for my phone to sit on so that I could film my desk instead of my face. So it's definitely in the works. It's just life has been busy. So, and it will continue to be busy. You know, the holidays are always busy. Even though I'm not traveling this year, you know, we've got a number of parties and things to go to. So, yeah, life is just, it's good. It's life. It's busy. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for you, my dears. I hope you have the happiest of holidays, and I know, you know, family can be tough. Family can be tough. So I hope you take care of yourselves. I hope you enjoy your time with your family if you're with them, and if you're not, that you just enjoy the day. Eat something yummy and think of all the good things, because there are always good things. This year we are grateful for a little personal thing. My husband recently, and 2 weeks ago, got hearing aids, which was a surprise. We'd kind of wondered for quite a while, for a couple of years, especially the last year or so. You know, kind of wondered if, you know, maybe something was going on. And he does have a genetic inoperable hearing loss, and that will get worse over time. So we are going to start learning ASL. And in the meantime, he's gotten his first set of hearing aids, and it has been, I'm going to try not to, it's been a little miracle. It's changed his life. I'm sorry. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that he can hear. We spent the first day, he had them listening to music. And it was incredible. It was so amazing to watch him hear the richness of the music. And anyways, so we are so grateful this year for his hearing aids and for modern technology that has made it possible for us to not be yelling across the apartment at each other. Anyways, I hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving, and I will be back in 2 weeks. I am determined to get back on schedule, because otherwise I just have way too much. So, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you get all the stitching time in between all the nummy goodness time, and I will see you soon, my friends. Take care.